Welcome into The Script, a podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes, presented by Dr. Pepper. His real name is Cardale Jones. His nickname is Beanie Wells. I'm Dave Holmes. We have a lot to talk about as the Buckeyes have now opened up camp. And we begin with Kemba Financial Credit Union, this week's segment on Can You Bank on It? Let's talk about the running backs, guys. We know we can bank on Kemba, but can we bank on a two-man committee? Because right now, Isaiah West is taking some first-team reps that we thought would be Bo Jackson. So, Beanie, it makes sense to start with my running back hero. Your thoughts on Isaiah West and Bo Jackson being a 1-2 punch, with Isaiah maybe even playing the one?
You know what? I actually like it. I don't mind it whatsoever. The last time we had a very good 1-2 punch, what happened? We won a national championship. I think that's the formula. When you look at, Isaiah West last year going into camp, he was banged up, had the hamstring injury. So we really didn't get a chance to see much of him in the earlier part of the year. But I think had that not happened, we may have seen a whole lot of him. He's a very talented guy, can hit a home run, runs with that, that low center of gravity and balance. I think him and Bo make a perfect 1-2 combination. But it is kind of head scratching to sit here and watch, him get the majority of the first team reps and Bo not get some of those, him running with the second team. But I think it's just a matter of, Ryan Day and the coaches staff wanting to see how Isaiah West looks with the first team offensive line. I think they already got a huge sample size of Bo Jackson in that group.
Cardale, I don't want to overreact on early August because I think things could look very different in early September. It would shock me if this were the case. I mean, Bo Jackson was the NIL guy they wanted to bring back. Bo Jackson went over 100 yards in 4 of his last 5 regular season games. He carried them against Michigan. I would be shocked if it shakes out this way. Would you be surprised to see Isaiah West be the lead man in the backfield?
No, I think I would be shocked because I think out of respect to what and how Bo came on, really, I would say he was one of the guys we talked about all year. As the weeks go on, he was continue to get better and better. And I think you give him the first cracks of being that number one guy. But the Buckeyes are going to be tested earlier this season by going to Austin and playing a really good Texas defense, who I think the strength of their team is on the defensive side of the ball. But we just saw this 2 years ago. It was the national championship formula of having 2 running backs that were plus 1,000-yard backs out the backfield in Quinshawn and Travion. Oh, and also what happened? Both those guys were drafted in the second round of the NFL draft that following season. So I'm all for it. I was always told you want to have a parent or spare if you're talking about the running back position, because it's especially a long season, and you talk about the load management that has to happen and load management that Ryan Day has talked about going back to the beginning of the 12-team playoff system. I'm all for it.
Beanie, back when you played, if Jim Tressel ran the ball 45 times, that meant you got 44 of them and the other one was a kneel down. Or would you be okay splitting the load? Because nowadays, sometimes there's money involved. You kind of want to stay fresh. Do you think it's different now than it was back then?
Oh, so much different now. I mean, guys want to stay fresher. Before it was looked at, if you were a guy that was carrying the ball 20, 25 times a game, oh, this is the all-world marquee running back, a workhorse. But there's no need for that this day and age. You can have multiple guys on the roster that can help your football team, and you can keep them fresher. And heck, we all know at the end of the day, what it is about. You want to get to the National Football League. And if you can get there and still be a top 3 draft pick in one of those top 3 rounds and have less wear and tear on your body, and you have more miles to give at that level, that's what you want. So, I have no issue with it in this day and age of college football.
We think we can bank on the Ohio State running game. We know you can bank on Kemba Financial Credit Union. They've been doing it since 1933, more than 90 years, supporting the community here in Central Ohio. We have a special offer for you if you want to sign up for a new account with them. Kemba.org/the script. That's Kemba.org/the script. There was some bad news, though, Cardale, in the early days of training camp. Legend Bey, talented freshman athlete, think he's going to play a little running back, can do it all, a bit of a Swiss Army knife. But he missed the first couple days of practice because Ryan Day said he violated a team rule. Now, Ryan didn't go into a lot of it, but he said he's young, he's still learning. How concerned are you that this talented freshman missed the first couple days for a team discipline thing?
0. I mean, like you said, he's a freshman. I mean, I'll be sitting here in line and said I didn't have my freshman stumbles as we go along, and was held out of practices or extra running at the person, whatever the case may be. But I think if we're in year 3 or 4 down the road and we're still dealing with some of these freshman mentalities and the freshman behaviors, I think that would be a concern at just a mature level. But right now, not at all. I mean, I expect these guys coming off a long summer break and then trying to get acclimated back to football football things. Some guys might not have showed up on time, or some guys might have forgot how they do things and what the standard is here. And not saying this is a Legend Bey situation, but clearly, whatever it was, I'm just happy that he can learn from this mistake and then clearly get back into the swing of things and getting ready for his first college football season.
Beanie, did you ever have a dumb freshman moment? Do anything that you regret?
No. I wasn't one of those kids. I was a rule follower. I did everything to a T that Coach Jim Tressel wanted and expected of me. No, I mean, heck yeah, I did stupid things, but nothing to the magnitude of where, I was reprimanded. But I did have a few situations to where I was called into the office and it was like, Beanie, what's going on? What are you doing in this situation? But yeah, nothing to where I got suspended or anything from practice. But I've had a couple of sit downs with Coach JT.
So, Beanie, do you think you do this for a couple days? It kind of shakes Legend Bey and he has a wake-up call?
Oh, for sure, 100%. I mean, here we're talking about a kid that is far away from home. And we know how the family dynamic had shifted with him, decommitting from Tennessee to Ohio State and how all that played out. But it's never an easy transition when you're going thousands of miles away from your comfort zone. So he may have been in a situation to where he missed the meeting because he was homesick or something like that. We don't know all the details and specifics, but we know he's a young kid that has a bright future ahead of him. And when you get set down earlier on, that tends to be that light bulb that goes off in your head, saying whatever it was, let me get back on track. So I'm not one of those players that's in the coach's doghouse and something like this will haunt me the rest of my career.
I had a chance to watch the first couple of days of camp, and it was interesting to watch Devin Sanchez, 5-star cornerback, going to play a big role this year. And Cardale, afterwards we talked to Devin Sanchez. The confidence was dripping off of him. And what stood out to me, he already dropped Cam Coleman's name, the wide receiver who transferred from Auburn to Texas. He dropped all the names of the receivers he's going to face this year. He has looked at the schedule. He knows the challenges. I think he's got a lot of swagger, but I'm excited to see what Devin Sanchez can do this year.
Yeah, and that's what you want. That's the type of mentality and attitude you want from your corner, especially a guy of that talent, man. You want a guy to have short-term memory. You want a guy to have the ultimate confidence and clearly be an ultimate competitor. And you accomplish that, and you add on to that what he's just a complete dog as well in the way he plays his game. I remember going out there and seeing him as a freshman, when he first got on campus earlier last winter. And I mean, some of his first reps, he was moving guys back to get out there and guard Jeremiah Smith one-on-ones. And those guys went at it. And clearly, iron sharpens iron. But this is a guy that continues to practice against the top guys in the country. So I cannot wait to see him go against another player, another top guy like a Cam Coleman, just wearing a different color jersey.
Yeah, he talked a lot about those battles with Jeremiah Smith. Beanie, it makes sense. I mean, if you can't get better lining up against number 4 every time, I mean, it really is good battles in camp that's going to make him great for the season.
No question about it. I mean, this is like the ultimate, I wouldn't even say litmus test, but this is the ultimate preparation when you have a guy like Jeremiah Smith to go up against on a week-to-week basis, a day-to-day basis in practice, because he prepares you for everybody else. There's not a lot of receivers out there in the country that are going to be as talented as Jeremiah and that works as hard as him. So you're getting that A1 quality competition day in, day out. When it comes to Cam Coleman, he's another top-tier wide receiver. I don't know if he's as talented as Jeremiah, but he's certainly close if he's not right there with him. So, I mean, I think he'll be more than prepared when the season rolls around, no matter who he's going against, based off what he sees in practice every day.
Yeah, we expect big things out of Devin Sanchez. Jermaine Matthews Jr. obviously brings back a lot of experience. But, Beanie, there's a guy that I don't think you're pretty high on, Jay Timmons, freshman cornerback. He seems to be starting at the nickel right now in camp. What can you tell me about Jay Timmons?
I love Jay Timmons. One of the things I really love about him, you talk about Devin Sanchez's confidence. Jay Timmons is a super confident kid as a freshman. I know a lot of times freshmen come in there, want to get their feet wet. They're wanting to, absorb what it's like to be a college athlete at such a big university. Not him. He's wanting to feel what it's like to be a starter at a big university. He wants to play early and often. And right now he's putting his best foot forward in camp. I'm super stoked for this kid, a kid out of Pittsburgh, a kid that we know can play. He was committed to another school, I believe it was Florida State before, but decided to make the right decision and come on to be a Buckeye. I'm excited about the production that he can have early on.
Yeah, Cardale, it's pretty cool when you think about they flipped Jay Timmons from Florida State. They bring in Earl Little Jr. from Florida State. We kind of got Seminole North going on up here in Columbus right now.
Just a little bit, and two great players, two players that I'm excited to see, and that's Scarlett and Gray. But back to what Beanie said about Jay, man, I think he's a really good competitor. Can't wait to see him play here. I know we opened up with Ball State, so I don't know how much of a task that's going to ask him and to see some of his talents out there. But he's a guy that I know the coach was very high on in the recruiting space, and from the stories that keep coming out about camp, he's flying all around the place.
Okay, so let's talk a little bad news here. The kicking game, guys. All right, so we know the kicking game has not been a bright spot since about the time they started playing football at Ohio State. It feels like it's been a long time since back in the Nugent days, I remember I felt good about it. But Connor Hawkins, they bring him in, kicker from Baylor, and we think it's all fixed now. He's a Lou Groza award watch list kind of guy. Missing some kicks, and not just him, the other kickers missing some kicks in practice. And that brings us to this week's Buckeye Basement Solutions. Just like Buckeye Basement Solutions will find a fix for your basement, we're trying to find a fix for the kicking game. So, Beanie, how concerned are you that Connor Hawkins and the rest of the kickers are struggling a bit when they're under the gun in practice?
Super concerned. I mean, when you go back and you look at Ohio State over the years, I mean, you go back to last season, there were times if we make a field goal, it shifts the outcome of a football game. You go back and you look at, what was it, the 23 season or 22 season down in Atlanta versus Georgia, you make the field goal, that probably leads you to another national championship. So yes, the kicking is so important for this university. We got to get it right. I mean, we have to be able to go out and get a top tier kicker. I mean, you are Ohio State. You do have a bunch of resources. I don't know. What do? I mean, do you start throwing 500,000, 800,000 at kickers? I think it's important enough to do so.
It's funny when you mentioned that. Like, I don't know the fix for it necessarily, Cardale. Ryan Day talked about it after day one of camp, and he kind of compared it to golf and said, you know, sometimes you hit it on the driving range, and then it's different when you're out on the course. So you're the quarterback. When you look over there and see kickers shanking kicks in practice, does that make you scared, or do you think, when the game gets here, they know how to turn it on?
I know, yeah, I wouldn't say scared, but it is an unease feeling when you see guys that's not, doing their job. You know, your job at that point is to kick that ball through the uprights, and when that's continuing to happen, and not just, coming up short of that job, when it's costing us majorly, it is frustrating, So I think, what Ryan Day can continue to do, try to put these guys in more and more uncomfortable and game-like atmospheres, to hopefully see and know how they respond when that moment shows his head on Saturday. It's a difference between going into a game situation of knowing how a guy's going to respond versus like hoping he respond the way we want. So, and only way you get that confidence is continue to do that and continue to rep it in practice.
Well, if your damp or wet basement needs a quality solution by a local company, it is time to get a hold of our guys at Buckeye Basement Solutions. They are the pros at waterproofing, foundation repair, whatever you need. Brian Mastroianni and his team can get it done for you. So give them a call at 614-956-4592 or get on BuckeyeBasementSolutions.com. Coming up next on The Script, presented by Dr. Pepper, video game ratings are out for various players, and we're going to take a trip down memory lane with Beanie and Cardale coming up next. Welcome back to The Script, a podcast on the Ohio State Buckeyes, presented by Dr. Pepper. Hit us up on our socials at The Script OSU. We are on YouTube, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get your pods. Big news for the future of Buckeye football this week. They get a commitment from Christopher Vargas, who's the #1 quarterback in the class of 2028. That's the good news. The bad news is, guys, I can't even get excited about this anymore. Cardale, in the current state of it, it's like, I know these guys might decommit 7 times, transfer 4 more times. Am I wrong here that I don't get excited at like this, like I would have 10 years ago?
You know what? I think rightfully so. The excitement isn't there as much when the younger guys are committed and they're so far out. So many things can happen. I mean, other guys in that class could emerge, right? I mean, as you continue to go on these visits and these recruiting trips all around the country, you as a recruit can potentially fall in love with other, universities and programs, and coaching changes may happen. So yeah, it's hard to get excited with so far away. I mean, I'm not getting excited into the name and the signatures on a dotted line, but I mean, this would be a big grab for the Buckeyes if he can stay committed, he can continue to develop over the rest of the time we have in high school. But until then, till he's here, till he's inside that Woody Hayes facility, it's just, it's just smoke and mirrors for me.
Beanie, a lot has been made of Buckeyes at the NFL level, and maybe some of these quarterbacks haven't panned out the way we thought they would. But I'll say this about Ryan Day. He gets you in the league. I mean, if you're the starting quarterback at Ohio State, Ryan Day will get you paid and give you a shot And if you're Christopher Vargas, I think that's all you can ask for.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, if you're a quarterback, why wouldn't you want to go and play for Ryan Day? I mean, he prepares you with the best of them. I mean, you look at his track record. I mean, I'd even venture to say, I mean, throw in Kyle McCord there. Kyle McCord did sensational when he went to Syracuse, but it was due in part to the preparation that he had under Ryan Day at Ohio State. I mean, he's picking quarterbacks at the next level. And when they get there, they're getting an opportunity because they know that they've gotten coached by an NFL caliber coach. So they're not going in there to where they have to learn a complete different system and learn NFL mentalities in terms of an offense standpoint. They're already getting that at Ohio State. I mean, if I'm a young quarterback, Ohio State is most certainly a place that I want to be at, because not only are you going to be prepared for the National Football League, but you're going to be playing the cream of the crop in college football, and you're going to have an opportunity to win a Heisman Trophy and, more importantly, win a national championship.
We are hoping Christopher Vargas is the future at Ohio State quarterback. We know JT Barrett is the past, and he had an unbelievable career. JT Barrett went 4-0 against Michigan. He set 34 Ohio State records, 5 Big Ten records, and now he has a new honor. JT Barrett is going into the Ohio State Athletics Hall of Fame. Other big names on there: Nick Swisher, baseball player who now the baseball field's named after. But Cardale, when you look back at JT Barrett, I mean, this is a guy that you will forever be linked with. You and JT were the guys who brought that championship. What can you tell us about the guy you used to play with?
I mean, well-deserved. I mean, I don't know if it's the first ballot or just, things like that and how far you got to be removed. But I think, when you think about it, I think it was well-deserved. I think it was overdue because of what he means to the program and what he meant to the program in his time there and the way he played the game. Clearly, this was a no-brainer. I'm excited for him, and it's pretty cool to say I played with three guys who are in the Ohio State Hall of Fame right now: Braxton Miller, Billy Price, and then JT. And there might be even a few more that I can't even think of right now. But I know some more is going to go in there and very soon from teams I played with. But well-deserved for this guy. And I think, he's clearly doing great things with the Chicago Bears as a quarterback coach. And this is pretty sweet.
Yeah, Cardale, he's now linked to Ben Johnson, like you said, with the Bears. When you played with him, did you see the coaching potential in JT?
100%. 100%. I think his demeanor, the way he go about things, his seriousness, his attention to detail. Him and another guy that we always called Coach Guyton, Kenny Guyton, was another guy that we thought was going to have a bright coaching career. And he's doing his thing at Wisconsin right now with Coach Fickle, and then clearly JT with the Bears. So these were guys who was not just students of the game, but clearly was able to put guys in the right position and really was ultimate ballers out there too. So it helps when, you're being coached by a guy who done it at the highest level as well.
Beanie, I was excited to see JT get this honor because I feel like we oftentimes remember the flashy. We remember Troy Smith and Justin Fields and Braxton Miller, guys who seemed like sexier players than JT Barrett. But when you look at the numbers and the stability, the 4-0 against Michigan, he set the table for Cardale in the national championship that year. I mean, JT Barrett is an all-time Buckeye.
Oh, no question about it. Not even only an all-time Buckeye, he's an all-time great when we talk about the Big Ten Conference. I mean, his passing yards, his touchdowns, he's up there with the best of them, and he most certainly is deserving, of being in the Ohio State Athletics Hall of Fame. In my opinion, I know they have certain criteria for the College Football Hall of Fame, but when you really break it down, JT Barrett is a guy that really should be in that discussion for being in the College Football Hall of Fame. He had that big of an impact on his university.
It is the month of August. That means video game season is upon us as far as the college football games and Madden. So let's get all of our gamers updated on some numbers here. Jackson Smith-Njigba is a 99. If you're watching Hard Knocks right now on HBO with the Seahawks, they gave him a special little crystal statue, which was pretty cool. Jeremiah Smith is a 99 on the NCAA football game. Beanie, how much do the players care about these numbers? Because I've heard stories that players would get a hold of EA Sports and complain about their numbers. I mean, is this something that the athletes really care about?
Absolutely. I mean, this is something that's going to last forever. And most of the athletes play the video game. So why wouldn't you want yourself to be as high as possible? Especially if you're a fast guy, right? And they got you at a 82. It's like, there's no way I'm at 82 in speed. So bump my ratings up a little bit more. Heck yeah, players, absolutely care about this one.
Carter, how much did you care about your numbers back in the day?
A lot. I just wanted to make sure certain attributes were correct. I mean, I think the one I played, the arm strength wasn't a 99. I'm like, okay, that's clearly false. I thought the speed was fair. I think fair overall, overall, I think was a little low than what I expected. But yeah, small things that the guys care a lot. Trust me.
That's pretty funny. Okay, so let's go back in memory lane here. All right, Beanie, who was your favorite football video game character growing up? Was there a game that you loved and a player you loved being?
Yeah, NFL 2K, Randy Moss on the Dreamcast.
Oh.
He was unstoppable. Unstoppable. I mean, 2K, NFL wise, man, that game was sensational. The graphics was crazy. And if it wasn't for EA understanding, you know what, they might be onto something, we better go get licensing squared away to where we can only promote the NFL game, they may not be in business. So, NFL 2K was serious, and Randy Moss was definitely my favorite player.
No, last year this documentary came out about Madden football, and they were very clear in that like 2K could have put them under in another timeline. Madden did everything they could to squash that. Cardale, do you have a player that you used to play?
Yeah, college football back in the day with Pat White from West Virginia. Those guys were unbelievable, really traditional, really running a triple option and understanding how to do it and pitching and pulling out. They were unstoppable. So NCAA, I forgot what year it was, but playing with West Virginia, that offense was ridiculous.
They 06, 7, and 8. All of them would have been crazy.
Yeah.
For me, back in college, we all wanted to be the Falcons so we could be Michael Vick because he was kind of a cheat code on Madden. I'm old enough that I used to play Tecmo Super Bowl back in the day on Nintendo, and Randall Cunningham was a freak for the Eagles. He was called QB Eagles because he didn't have a licensing agreement. He was one of only like 3 guys. And Bo Jackson, obviously back in the day, Bo Jackson, the original, not the one on the Buckeyes now, was something. Beanie, I want to ask you this. So you were named to EA Sports like all-time team. The Athletic did some write-up where you were named one of 4 all-time running backs. You had a 97 rating, I believe. Can you name the other 3 guys who were the running backs on the all-time EA? Do you have a guess who they were?
Yeah, Adrian Peterson.
Yeah, that was one of them.
Reggie Bush.
That's the second one. The last one's interesting because he was a stud, and he actually had some good years, I believe, for the Raiders at running back.
Darren McFadden.
There we go.
There we go. Hey, you got to send me that list. That's some pretty good company to be in right there.
I'll tell you what. Anytime you're on a list with Adrian Peterson and Reggie Bush, that ain't bad.
Right.
Bro, that is the unbelievable list. But Darren McFadden running that Wildcat with Felix Jones down in Arkansas. Oh, my God. Yeah.
And you remember they had Peyton Hillis on that team, too.
They had Peyton Hillis, too. Yeah, the only one of the 3 to be on a Madden cover, I'm guessing. That's kind of crazy. Speaking of video games. All right, another running back now. James Peoples transferred from Ohio State to Penn State. And he was asked about the Buckeyes, and he said he intends to cross paths with them at some point this year. Now, that would have to be in a Big Ten title game or a playoff game because the Buckeyes aren't set to face Penn State. But Penn State, Cardale, if we look at the schedule, Penn State in Matt Campbell's first year avoids Ohio State. They avoid Oregon. They avoid Indiana. Do you see a world where James Peoples could actually get a crack at the Buckeyes?
You know what? I just was mentioning this on the show earlier today. I think so. I think Penn State has the easiest route to the Big Ten championship game out of all 3 of those teams you just mentioned. Plus, you throw in there USC, you throw in there Washington. Like, these other teams have some pretty tough schedules, and even the tougher games for Penn State, a few of them are coming in Happy Valley. So we can look up, I think, for a smooth selling in a transition year, you can ask for a better first year in a new conference as Matt Campbell is getting as his first year in the Big Ten with Penn State. Expectations are clearly still high, but you're playing a lot of winnable games and games you're going to go out there and be competing in, and you can look up and find yourself in a Big Ten championship game versus a potential Ohio State, one of these other quote-unquote big dogs in the Big Ten. So I can see it happening.
Yeah, I mean, Ohio State drew the short end of the stick for sure. Penn State has a pretty good schedule, arguably the easiest. Beanie, James Peoples wants the Buckeyes. Should he want the Buckeyes? Do you think he would fare well against them?
Yeah, no, he wouldn't. Not at all. I mean, this would be one of those deals that, obviously you want it as a competitor. But, when you're actually to go against an Ohio State defense, it's going to be tough, physical, especially in the trenches. I don't know if I'd be asking for that, especially publicly. But, him being a guy that was once upon a time on this roster, I could see it. I could see it. And like Cardale said, I think right now, when you look at Penn State's schedule, they have the easiest road to the Big Ten championship and potentially a college football playoff. So it very well may indeed happen.
I respect it. I don't think he really, I don't think he really wants the smoke, if I'm being honest. I don't think he wants it, but he knows they're not on the schedule. So why not just talk about it? The odds that you're actually going to face them are probably 10 or 15%. So get out there and say what you want to say, James. I respect that. Coming up next year on The Script, presented by Dr. Pepper, there is one of the craziest promotions in college football history that we said, is this really a thing? We're going to talk about that coming up. Welcome back to The Script, presented by Dr. Pepper. All right, guys, we've seen a lot of crazy ways to raise money. We just saw the Buckeyes put the Chase Bank logo patch on. All those things are pretty conventional. But what the Akron Zips are doing is bonkers. And I'm not just saying this as a Kent State guy who's going to hate on everything Akron. But Akron is now having this raffle where season ticket holders, one of them gets to script the opening series of their season opener. Now, I've got to assume that they will work with head coach Joe Moorhead on some level. Cardale, I can't see some random dude in section 224 saying triple flea flicker and getting the quarterback killed. There's got to be guardrails on this, right? Got to be some kind of guardrails.
It's the coolest shit I ever seen in my life. What? This is hilarious. But yeah, no, I'd imagine there'd be some guardrails, and I think it's a cool opportunity for them to get the fans engaged, to sell some tickets, to get some support on a different level, right? Because when you're not, in the national spotlight, you got to find a way to continue to be relevant and put butts in seats. I know Coastal Carolina, I think last year or the year before, did free concessions, right? Trying to promote people to get into these stands and support their teams. But I think it's pretty cool because it also gives them, the fans, an opportunity, season ticket holders, an opportunity to learn some ball on a high level as well. Because like you said, Dave, it has to be some type of guardrails where, hey, these are the 6 to 7 plays we're thinking about starting with, because if we get this and things like that. So, but I like it.
Right, because it's not like if the guy calls a fake punt on 1st and 10. Like, he can't, these could get really stupid, Beanie.
Hey, but what if this situation happens, right? There's no guardrails on. This is your script. And with this script, we're talking about 2 plays, he's driving down the field and score. Again, I get 6 plays, 2 more plays, I drive down the field and score. I'm hiring him as my offensive coordinator. So this may be an audition for this kid.
This may be an audition. I guarantee you, Beanie, with the right dollar amount donation, I guarantee you they call it, hey, do what you want.
Yeah, right.
Do what you want. Do what you want.
Yeah, if Beanie was scripting, he'd just go off tackle left, off tackle right, off tackle left. It'd just be straight run plays all the way down the field. All right, so Purdue got this new athletic director, and his name's Tommy McClellan. And in his opening news conference, he made some comments, and he took a playful jab at their rival, Indiana. And guys, I love a good playful jab. I love some good-natured trash talk. But he said that you come to Purdue to win championships. If you don't want to win championships, go to Indiana. All right. It's not a bad line. But the timing, you can't say this 6 months after your rival wins the biggest Cinderella championship in history, right, Cardale? Cardale, you're a trash talker, but you have to know not to say this.
This is one of those opportunities, and I think that this guy has been preparing to be the athletic director, or his goals and dreams has always been the athletic director at Purdue, and he wrote this speech when he was a kid, right? He dusted that thing off. He was so excited when he dusted that thing off. Was like, man, Mom, you told me I was going to be it one day when I was 6 years old. You said I was going to be this. He said, and now, like, look at me now, and blah, blah, and like, he just reading what he wrote when he was 6 to 8 years old. That's dope.
Yeah, Beanie, that line would have killed in 1989. Now, when Kurt Signetti gets a hold of the Boilermakers, he's going to hang 80 on him.
Oh, there's no question. I don't even know what he was thinking in his mind, saying, you go to Indiana to win championships, or you don't to not win championships. They literally just won it. Yeah. Like, what's going through your mind? Where's your processor? I mean, it's not processing clearly. But yeah, definitely bad choice of words, 1,000%.
All right, I'll get you guys out on this one. The Browns quarterback competition, which almost makes me yawn because I feel like it's the same thing every year, but we're back where we always start with. Deshaun Watson might be a thing again. Shedeur Sanders may have never been a thing, but some people think he could be a thing. So, Cardale, where do you come down on this? Because there are some folks who just say maybe the answer is Dylan Gabriel still. Where do you come down on this Browns quarterback race?
You know what? We'll see. Let's get through. I think, you got to take the guardrails off for the preseason. I mean, traditionally, you would think that, Deshaun Watson would be limited action in preseason because he's going in as your starter. But I think you find a way to try to give everybody the most equal and fair chances possible to see what you got for the future. Because here's a great part about the Browns. They're in such a unique situation where you have so many really good, talented quarterbacks coming out in this upcoming year's draft, where this season is almost a wash for you. Yeah, I would love to be able to invest in one of my younger guys, in Dylan Gabriel or Shador, if things pan out that way. Or I need to see what type of financial commitment I'm willing to make to Deshaun Watson long term after that $200+ million deal, if he's showing to be the Deshaun Watson that we all remember him from Houston. So the ball is in their court. I don't think they can go about this situation wrong at all because they have so many options next year. It's not like, hey, I know I need to tank for the number one spot to get this one or two quarterbacks. You're going to have a lot of really good quarterbacks to select from to potentially start building your franchise around after this season.
And Beanie, what Cardale said is very true because next year they have the extra draft picks they got from the Myles Garrett trade. And if you look at everything around him, you've got Quinshon Judkins in the backfield. You have Harold Fannin at tight end. You just drafted Denzel Boston and Casey Concepcion. Those are 4 talented skill position players under the age of 25. It's like, if they could get the guy, Beanie, the cupboard's not bare.
100%. I think you take this season, you figure out, if Deshaun Watson is going to be it, if you're going to see the him of O, or if Shador Sanders is your quarterback. And like Cardale said, you got so many different options and you let everything play out. You don't just pinpoint a guy based off of any one thing right now. You let it get to the regular season or up until the regular season, and you see who's going to be the best quarterback to lead us, who's going to win us the most games and put us in the best position to win. And if neither one of those guys are it, then you know what you're doing in the draft and coming in April.
Well, if you're watching on YouTube, the reason Beanie and Cardale are both dressed in suits, they look like they're about to do my taxes. It's because they're working for CBS Sports Television. But next week, we are all back in studio here in Columbus together, so we're going to have fun next week on The Script presented by Dr. Pepper.